I'm going to tell you what the Lord told me yesterday, just so beautifully. I was reading Ephesians about marriage, and I believe it's Ephesians 2, somewhere in there, about marriage, and it's so powerful. And here's the bottom line. Those of you who are single, listen very, very, very intently right here. The reason that God gives marriage to a couple, you say, well, what's the reason? So that they can have sex without guilt? No. So they can populate and have children? Well, that's part of it, and all of that is true. But the real reason for marriage is to fulfill God's purpose in the family. And I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this yesterday, that in my life, a single person should ask this question if they're dating someone and considering marrying them. If I marry and add that person to my life, will that person aid me in fulfilling the purposes of God? If they will not help me fulfill God's purpose for my life, they do not belong in that place. So I thought about, I have this purpose. God called me alone when I was single to preach. I was not dating anybody. I was single. And God called me to preach. He called me singly to preach. I knew without a doubt I was called to preach. And then I met Cherise several years later. And I fell in love with her. And now looking back over my life, not only did I fall in love with her and we did it like God said do it, but listen to this. She has helped me fulfill my purpose, which this ministry would not on any level be where it is today for the glory of God had she not been taking care of things in the purpose of God that I'm totally blinded to, that I'm totally ignorant in, that I'm totally zero gifting in beauty, in architect, in all the carpet, every detail of buildings and things that she just knows instinctively, and I just know how to preach instinctively. But think about this. She couldn't have fulfilled her purpose if she hadn't married me, and we've done it and touched the world together. Together. That's a powerful, powerful thing. It got too much. And don't you think just because you've walked with the Lord for many, many years, the enemy will not come and try to break those wings loose from one another. He's done it many times through the years. I remember one time particularly when the kids were very small. I think Courtney and Carissa, and I don't even think Caroline was born. Pat, you'll remember this. And we had just built our first house. Cherise had built it. She's a builder. And remember Gene Jones and Margaret, and we were going through a rough spot, me and Cherise, and the pressure of the church, and we were building, and just a lot of stuff, just a lot of attacks, and the church was in a lot of it was so demanding. I was working all the time. I was preaching 3 new sermons a week, and I was just and I had no time for nothing, and just trying so hard. And we just hit a wall. And I got up that Sunday morning and I said, I cannot do this. We had a terrible week. And I said, I cannot do this. I'm not going to church this morning. And I called the associate pastor, Gene did for me. His name was Jerry Brackett. He got up and preached. I didn't tell anybody anything. We were walking through some of the darkest times where everything in us screamed, give up, quit. You're incompatible. What's the use? And I'm saying to you today, every one of you will face dark nights like that and dark days like that. But we kept holding on. We kept doing what we could do. And God always came through when the little wings finally got over their pride and ego and reached out and touched in mercy, in forgiveness, in grace. My children have not seen a perfect dad, but they've seen a dad that loves his wife. I do love my wife, and I love my children unconditionally. Say amen, somebody. Unconditionally. And that's all God asks of us. That's the good news. He says, if you'll do that, if you'll forgive one another, if you'll reach out, all of y'all fighting in your families, siblings won't speak to each other. All the junk that comes, all the heavy stuff that hits a family, it's going to all come back to somebody getting on their knees, at least two, and the wings reaching out and calling again. Let's go to eat again. Let's start communicating again. Let's create a throne zone. If we do what we can do, God will do what we can't do.